Hey, everybody, welcome back to the next episode. So, this episode is going to be about me continuing heading farther south into New Mexico. After leaving Albuquerque, I stopped at an abandoned ghost town, and then from there, I continued east towards White Sands National Park. Those are the two main focal points of the episode, but I did stop off at a few other places and stayed at a couple new campsites. The episode does end on a bit more of a serious note. I kind of talk about some of the shifts that I've noticed now that I'm home and looking back on this trip, and just the different focus I have in life on things that I want to pursue and I want to go after. Some things that have been released from this trip. But that's what I'm going to end the episode with, a little bit more reflection on that. Other than that, if you feel so inclined, go ahead and leave a comment and like. That's what YouTube tells me I'm supposed to say. Other than that, yeah, let's get started. After spending a few days in the city, I was ready to be on my own now. So I drove 100 miles south and explored an abandoned ghost town, Kelly, New Mexico. In the 1860s, Kelly was booming. The town was known for mining, drilling in search of a copper, lead, zinc, or silver lining. The zinc here was turned into paint by hardworking civilians, and one of the mines was famously owned by the original Sherwin-Williams. Homes across the nation were covered in their paint, derived from the Kelly mine in this spot, in this state. These old mining towns, they succeed or fail, went boom or bust, and eventually the prices got so low the train stopped showing up. And when the train reroutes, a town can no longer stand, and by the 1960s, Kelly had played its last hand. I don't think I'd go back here. There isn't much to do. My favorite part about the town was the population of 2. And for a ghost town, it wasn't that scary. Maybe I should have looked in the rear view and chanted Bloody Mary. But it was starting to get late, so it was time to leave. The sun's already down, and I don't know where I'm going to sleep. Searching for a campsite in the dark isn't very smart. It's better to get there during the day and scan the place, make sure it's safe to park. But I found a spot just outside of a town with a unique name. Feeling paranoia through the night, although a thief never came. It's time to move from where the white van is parked, heading east now towards White Sands National Park. On my way there, I started to run low on gas, and then got stopped by a man in a uniform who said I couldn't pass. I turned around back to the highway with a starving, shriveled tank. No civilians allowed at the Army missile range. I hold my breath and run on fumes. I should be arriving at White Sands soon. South central New Mexico is where you'll find this sandy landmark. It may not be a canyon, but it's a grand national park. Apparently gypsum is a mineral that flows down from the surrounding hills. The sediments settle in and the basin starts to fill. Mound after mound, the white color shows. The ground all around looks like it's covered in snow. People come from far and wide to see this gypsum dune, feeling like an alien driving the surface of the moon. Every direction you're heading, you'll see places to play. They even encourage sledding to get the most out of the day. This geological oddity is unlike anything I'd ever seen. Huge mountains of free white powder, if you know what I mean. If you're curious as me, you'll get sand in your snot here. And believe it or not, Transformers was shot here. Being in a place so open and vast helps me remember my size. A grain of sand that will not last is passing through time. A solo explorer is the chosen life I'm living, just out here trying to make the most of the time that I've been given. But I'm finished here now and it's time to move along. I'm on the last few drops of gas, but the Chevy's running strong. I'm getting a little worried because the gas is so low and I still gotta make it 15 miles to Alamogordo. Sputtering into town, I fill up at the station. Then I camp at one of my favorite spots all across the nation. A Walmart parking lot. A real blessing in disguise. A free place to stay and stock up on supplies. At first it feels a little sketchy, but eventually you get used to it. Just don't leave anything outside because it's likely that you'll lose it. No one ever stole from me. I never caught a goon stalking. I've always had a good experience when I'm boondocking. Couldn't ask for better weather. Kick back and watch the sunset. Saving money, living better. I haven't missed home once yet. At this point in time, van life was good. Nothing to complain about and no reason that I should. Free places to stay, and I felt pretty safe. Didn't really think about how far home was away. I wasn't alone, I was by myself, alive and thriving and finding myself. Learning more about the mysteries within, and learning to accept my gifts and my sins. Looking back now, I miss the open road. Things aren't the same, and it's harder being home. I like that I lived all day with my shoes on. I like that I had only 5 shirts to choose from. But I'm glad that I went and got this out of my soul, so now I can accept that my youth's gone. I'm moving on. Moving on. Alright, well, on that more serious note, I'm going to start wrapping it up here. But like I said, I wanted to run with this last idea a little bit. Something I've been noticing is that, it is time to move on. And it seems like this moving on isn't necessarily been something that I'm choosing in the moment. I can feel this natural shift happening in my mind. Where before, ever since college graduation, or even before that, my focus has been on travel. I've wanted a good job and I've wanted a relationship and these things, but always in the back of my mind, I knew there was some adventure I needed to get out there and go do. I'm not really sure why, but I know it was in there. I had this yearning this itch that needed to be scratched. And now that I've done that, I don't want to go out and travel solo again. I did a lot of it, and there's a lot of people that have done a lot more, but I've done plenty for myself, and I've scratched that itch. And I can tell now that there is this more natural shift happening where it's like I don't want to focus on that. I'm ready to start focusing on career and relationships. I'm ready to start building something for the more long-term future. It seems like things are coming and things are coming into sync with each other. They're lining up, and I'm lucky to be able to have had this adventure. I'm so lucky. But now, this week, in a few days, I'll be moving to southern Utah. I'm moving down there for a job opportunity. I'm very excited about this opportunity. I'm not sure. There's no assurance it's going to work out. There's no assurance it's going to be exactly what I want. But it's the closest thing that I've ever found that's right up my alley. Very excited. And the next adventure is on its way. But this is an opportunity that I never would have found if I didn't get out in the world and explore. I never would have met these people if I stayed at home and worked at the same place that I worked. So I don't know. What I'd say to anybody is that if you have this adventure in your heart that's calling you to go do something, it doesn't have to be travel. Travel's an obvious one. But whatever adventure life is calling you towards, go on that adventure. You never know what things will come up if you don't actually go for it. If you don't actually go on the adventure, you never know what you'll find. And you don't know what you'll find until you go looking. So that'd be my advice. Take it if you want. Ignore it if you like. That's just been my experience. So other than that, I just appreciate you taking the time to listen to this. And I hope you enjoy the rest of the day.